$96. That's what's left in your account the night you turn 31. And it's the reason you'll have six figures within the decade. Not your salary, not your net worth, just what's sitting in checking after the rent auto draft clears. You stare at it under the light of the microwave clock because it's 1 a.m. and the ceiling fan in your bedroom has been rattling for a week and you still haven't fixed it because fixing it costs money you apparently don't have. You open the banking app again, like the number might change. It doesn't. You make $61,200 a year, which used to feel like something. $5,100 a month becomes $3,760 after taxes. Rent is $1,475. Car is $340. Insurance, phone, a gym you visit 4 times a year, $260. Groceries run $310. That leaves $1,375. And your card statement says everything else actually costs $1,650. You've been underwater by $275 a month for over a year, and you only just decided to check. You don't cry. Something in you just goes still, the way a room goes still right before someone finally says the thing they've been avoiding. You open a spreadsheet you'll actually keep this time. Here's what nobody tells you when you start at 31 instead of 21. You lost something real. The decade where a finance book would have had you dropping $200 a month into an index fund and calling it early retirement. That decade is spent, and no feed full of hustle content will hand it back. Sit with that for one night. That's the whole allowance you get. Because here's the other half. You're not 21 either. You're not guessing at how money behaves anymore. You have a title, a skill, a raise eventually, if you ask for it. You're old enough to stop flinching away from a number. And the math still works. It just asks more of you now. At 31, putting away $550 a month at a 9% average return gets you past $900,000 by 62. Not a guess, arithmetic. But $550 a month means killing the $275 leak first and building something to stand on, not $10,000. Your first real target is $1,500, untouched. That's harder than it sounds at 31, because $1,500 is also a dead alternator, a dentist you've been avoiding, a funeral flight nobody scheduled. Every dollar saved gets tested by real life immediately. You sell a road bike from a phase for $410. You cancel a streaming bundle and a meal kit subscription still quietly charging you $71 back. You bring lunch, netting maybe $150 over 6 weeks. You pick up a Saturday tutoring gig, quietly, adding $260. One Tuesday, the account reads $1,512. Nobody claps, but something small and load-bearing settles into your chest that wasn't there a season ago. By 32, you've automated $350 into a Roth IRA and $150 into savings, pulled on the third before you can talk yourself out of it. Tighter than you'd like, but it holds. Then your laptop dies mid-project, the one your freelance income runs through. Repair and a loaner, $1,180, due immediately. 2 years ago, this would have been a 5-alarm crisis, a card swipe you'd apologize to yourself about for months. Instead, you sit in a coffee shop parking lot and transfer it from the account you built dollar by dollar. Not relief, exactly. More like proof. You rebuild the buffer over 3 months without missing a transfer. At 33, the market drops 16% over 5 months. You check the number obsessively for 2 weeks before forcing yourself to stop, but keep contributing anyway, buying shares at a discount without fully trusting it. By winter, the account has recovered like the drop was a rumor. Somewhere in that same stretch, something shifts that has nothing to do with the market. In an appliance aisle, one vacuum is $45. Another is $160 with a longer warranty and parts that won't need replacing every year. 5 years ago, you'd have grabbed the $45 one on reflex. Instead, you do the math. How many times you'll use it, how many years it'll last. Cost per use instead of cost at checkout. You buy the $160 one and sit in the car after realizing you've quietly stopped thinking in 30-day windows. You're thinking in years now, the way a habit grows in without an announcement. At 34, your company announces layoffs, the kind of email where the wording tells you everything before you finish it. That night, you find your savings covers 4 months at your real spending rate, tracked to the dollar for 2 years. Your investments sit as a deeper layer beneath that. Not untouchable, but not one paycheck from the edge either. 2 colleagues are let go the following week. You watch one carry a box to her car and feel relief you're still employed, and guilt for feeling that relief. Underneath both, a colder understanding. This happens again to somebody, maybe you, and the only real defense is months of runway. You move your target from 4 months to 7 without touching the investments. That same year, your friend Devin leases a new truck, the top trim, the one with the screen that takes up half the dash. He calls it basically free because the payment is low. You've done enough math by now to know what low monthly payment, 72 months, 6-point-something%, actually adds up to, and what Devin makes, and how those two numbers sit next to each other. Riding in it, you feel the pull, the quiet, the leather, the door that shuts like something engineered to impress. A voice in you says you've earned something too. You notice the voice. You don't fight it or shame it. You just let it pass, the way you'd let weather pass.
Because the real question was never, do I want this? It's what it costs you. In years, not in dollars. You get out and into your own 8-year-old sedan and feel something quieter than jealousy. Clarity. At 35, your combined accounts cross $45,000 on an ordinary Thursday. You're between meetings, glance at the app the way you'd glance at a plant to see if it grew, and there it is. You go back to your meeting. You eat a sandwich at your desk, but the number stays with you all afternoon, low and steady. Because it doesn't feel like a milestone anymore. It feels structural. A foundation that's finished curing, ready to hold weight. This is the whole reason starting at 31 mattered more than waiting until 41. Foundations need time you can't buy back later. At 36, your younger brother calls on a Sunday. Careful in the way people get when they've rehearsed the sentence. His transmission is gone. The estimate is $3,400 and he doesn't have it, and hates asking. You tell him not to apologize. You transfer it Monday morning without touching your investments, without a balance transfer, without losing sleep over it. What stays with you isn't the $3,400. It's how easily you said yes. 3 years earlier, helping him would have meant debt and a private shame spiral about being a grown adult who couldn't absorb someone else's emergency. This time it just happens. That's the first moment you actually understand what any of this was for. Not the number, the capacity, the ability to show up for somebody you love without it costing you your own footing. At 37, your portfolio earns more from growth than you contributed that entire year. Over $7,800 from the market doing what markets do while you left it alone. You're making money on days you're sick, days you forget the account exists. The machine built from a transmission repair, a layoff scare, a dead laptop, and a vacuum aisle decision is running whether you watch it or not. By 38, the consumer debt is gone. The freelance gear loan is paid off in one transfer that feels both enormous and strangely quiet, the way real wins usually do. You've got a diversified portfolio, a maxed Roth, a small brokerage account on the side, and a kind of loneliness nobody warns you about. The people you love most, people you've known 15 years, mostly aren't doing this. Some are in real financial pain that's hard to watch up close. Some earn more than you and spend every bit of it in a way that looks fine until the year it stops looking fine. You brought it up gently, twice over dinner. It went nowhere because people don't rewire their relationship with money because a friend mentioned compound interest between courses. They rewire it at their own kitchen table at 1 a.m. in front of their own uncomfortable number, the way you did. You can't hand someone that moment, so you carry it quietly. You split the bill evenly, even when you ordered the cheaper thing. You don't perform discipline as a personality trait. You just feel the gap sometimes, like a draft from a window you can't locate. You wake up on your 42nd birthday, and before coffee, before your phone, you lie there and think about the microwave clock, the rattling fan, the $96, the spreadsheet you almost didn't reopen. Then you check the number. Just past $215,000. Not financially free by anyone's internet definition, but 42 years old with real, liquid working wealth built out of a monthly deficit, built from one night you finally stopped looking away. The median American in their early 40s carries a net worth of roughly $40,000 or so. You're sitting at more than 5 times that. Not from an inheritance, not from luck, though luck played a small supporting role and you know it. Because you automated the behavior before the motivation ever fully arrived. Because you paid for a dead laptop out of a coffee shop parking lot instead of a credit card. Because you rebuilt a buffer without missing a transfer. Because you said yes to your brother without doing the math on what you'd have to give up. Because you stayed in the market while your gut screamed at you to get out. 8 years ago, you thought wealth would feel like a figure on a screen. It didn't. It felt like fixing your own transmission problem without panic. It felt like surviving a round of layoffs without spiraling. It felt like telling your brother, "Don't apologize, I've got it," and meaning every word. Mostly, it felt like waking up one ordinary morning and realizing the future had quietly stopped being something that happened to you. It became something you built, one automated transfer at a time.